See, economics is not difficult. You just need to understand it. If someone comes to you and says, the trade volumes are diminishing because of the protective tariffs induced by the American government, and due to it the government is taking counter-confectionary measures, fiscal measures, and trying to induce and trying to stimulate domestic demand, you will not understand a thing. Why will you not understand it? This is a different language from what you speak. This is the economic language that you have to learn. Like any other language, to understand the language, you need to get the terminology right. You understand the terminology, you understand each individual words, you will understand the language. When you understand the language, you can speak it, and if someone else speaks it, you can understand it. Okay? So all you need to do here is break down these terms into regular language that you know and learn this economic language so that you can speak it. Okay? So from looking at an economics business page of Hindu and not understanding anything out of it to understanding that page, that is the journey we have to go throughout this 1.5 to 2 months. Okay? So at the end of the syllabus, if you are able to pick up an article and read it and understand it, my job is done. Right? Law of diminishing marginal utility. We already understand utility. What is it? Satisfaction derived from a particular good or service. Okay? What is marginal utility? Nothing fancy, very simple. First spoon, consider it as 1 unit of consumption. Second spoon, second unit of consumption. Okay? Let's say out of a biryani packet, you are getting 100 spoons. That means how many units of consumption are there? 100 units of consumption are there. The extra spoon, the 101st spoon that needs to be produced by the restaurant is nothing but the marginal unit. Marginal unit. Any additional unit in an economic term is marginal. The additional unit is called as marginal unit. Okay. If you are consuming only 5 units normally, that means only 5 spoons normally, the 6th spoon will be marginal unit. Understanding? The additional unit is marginal unit. The utility that you get out of that additional spoon is marginal utility. Utility coming out of that marginal unit is nothing but marginal utility. Clear? What is the other word in it? Law of diminishing. In economics, one thing you have to understand is everything is a theory. This theory will be applied to a particular geographical area that will become that area's economy. I'll repeat. Theories with respect to these resources, economics. Apply these theories to a geographical area, it becomes that area's economy. Okay? We will come back to that also. For now, theory. That is also written as law. What is the law? Law is saying diminishing marginal utility. What does diminishing means? Decrease. Okay, so the theory name has what it is saying directly. It is saying every marginal utility will diminish. That is the law. Okay, the more you consume, the more marginal units you consume, the utility that you derive out of it will diminish, will decrease. It is the law. That is nothing but law of diminishing marginal utility. Clear? Similarly, wherever you come across different terminology, break it down, convert it into the language that you know, it will be easy to understand. Okay? So the more you consume something, the less satisfaction you get out of that particular good or service. Okay? So now here, the production and extraction part of resources is there. What is the job of the firms or companies or the government that is producing and extracting? It is trying to give you maximum utility out of a resource, out of a good or a service. That is the goal here. What is the goal? Maximum utilization of resources is the goal. Maximum utilization of the resources. Right? That is what we all try to do in our day-to-day. Time is a resource. We want to utilize that time as well as possible so that there will be value added to our life. If your goal is clearing civil services, then you try to utilize this resource, which is time, to maximize in a way that you will achieve the rank. Once you get into the service, how do you use this time as a resource? By providing the service, by doing your duty efficiently. By doing your duty efficiently. I am given 2 hours of the time in a day to explain economics to you. If I instead talk about some random things, is my time being utilized properly? No. How do I maximize my time? I maximize my time in a way so that I can put this information that I know into your heads. If you understand it well, my time is utilized well. Clear? So the goal of every person in an economic circle is nothing but utilize the given resources to them at the maximum point. All the theories that you study with respect to economics are trying to explain how these resources can be utilized to the maximum extent. Clear? All these socialist, capitalist, communist principles, all these principles we talk about, what are they trying to do? They are saying, leave the economics to capitalists. They will make the resources, they will use the resources, they will create the goods and services, thereby those goods and services can be consumed by people and they will get utility out of it. Capitalists are saying that. Socialists are saying, no, don't leave it to them, pool everything, give it to the government. They will do these activities, they will do welfare so that maximum utilization of resources is given to its public. Okay? So wherever a government is taking a decision, an industry is taking a decision, an individual is taking a decision, they are all trying to do one thing: maximum utilization of resources. Clear? Resources are scarce, resources are utilized, resources are produced, resources are extracted. Now, resources need to be managed. Resources need to be managed. Management of resources. Management of resources. How do we manage the resources? By trading in them, by exchanging them. We go to a movie, we are giving time and money, and they are giving entertainment to us. Our resource is being given to them, their resource is being given to us, so that we maximize our happiness. If the movie is adding value to me by giving me some piece of time, utilized resources are well utilized. Okay? What is the person getting out of it? They are getting money out of it. They are getting praise out of it. Okay? Maximum utilization of resources is done through good management of the resources. These resources can be managed through trade and through exchange. Resources are managed to trade and exchange. Apart from that, they are utilized by consumption. They are managed through consumption. So if we have a resource with us, we can trade it, we can exchange it, or we can consume it. Okay? Resources are scarce. Resources need to be utilized. For utilization, they have to be either extracted or produced. And once that is done, the resources need to be managed. Clear so far? And the utility that we derive out of each additional unit of a resource diminishes. That is called law of diminishing marginal utility. You don't remember the law name, it is fine, but you have to remember what it is trying to say. Clear? Now, let's go a little bit back in history to world history again. Okay? When we discussed Industrial Revolution, what was the precursor to Industrial Revolution? What was the economic setup before Industrial Revolution? What was the system called? Before capitalism. I'll give you more clues. Under what system was land distributed? Before that, how was the land? What was the economic setup? It is limited, it is always limited. Before enclosure. Laissez-faire comes later. Huh?
Land was distributed.
Huh?
All the peasants have access to the land.
Peasants have access to the land. Who is in control of whom? Landlords. They are called as feudal lords. Feudalism. Feudalism was the setup in most of the states around the world. Okay. Land belongs to either king or the government in that area or the church. Right? That land that belongs to these governmental heads will be given to feudal lords who will be overseeing that particular land, under whom peasants will be working. Those lords are called nobles or feudal lords. The people who are working there are called serfs. That is why it's called serfdom. Okay? This was the structure of land-related economy before Industrial Revolution. From feudalism, what happened? In feudalism, basically, who is controlling the resources? Landlords. Government is controlling the resources. Okay? When Industrial Revolution started, industrialization started, then who was controlling the resources? Capitalists are controlling the resources. What was the theory given by these capitalists? What do they call this economy as? Right? A free economy. Free market economy. What does a free market economy do? There is no governmental intervention in the economic activities. Okay? We've seen that in Industrial Revolution. Now, come back here a little bit. Resources are scarce, need to be utilized. For that, production has to happen and they have to be managed. Now, if a person comes and says, these resources belong to me, I will manage these resources according to how I want. I will not care about demand and supply. I will manufacture as many products as I want, more or less up to me. I will decide the price of this product as an individual. That is nothing but capitalism. So industrial revolution happened, industrialization happened when the world was following this setup of capitalism. Okay. When capitalism was booming, capitalism was increasing, the main countries that this was happening was in United Kingdom and United States, and few of the states that were developed in the European nations. Remember all this?
Yes, sir.
Once these capitalists are there, continuous revolutions happened after capitalism came into existence. Why? These capitalists are saying, I will not care about the workers that are there in my factory. However many hours I want, they have to work. Minimum wage will be decided by me as an individual. You will not decide, government will not intervene in these activities. I will employ men, I will employ women, I will not employ women, I will discriminate them. I will employ children who are under the age of 14 also, and then I will put them in unsafe conditions. The working conditions in my factory will not be clean. They may be, they may not be. I will not care about it, you cannot intervene in it. Because of all these things, revolutions happened in many countries. They were called social revolutions. What were they asking?
Labor laws.
They were asking about labor laws, better living conditions, equal pay, better pay, minimum wage. Yeah? And some form of voting system in the decision making of how factory functions. Okay? From all these revolutions, while these revolutions are happening, and to propel them even more, one person came and gave a particular terminology. What is it? Socialism. Year. 19 100 years mundukellu. 1848, year of revolutions. Frederick Engels and Karl Marx. They wrote what? They wrote Communist Manifesto. Socialism was there. Karl Marx called it what kind of socialism? His socialism, what did he call it? Scientific socialism. Ringing any bells? Scientific socialism. The socialist theories that were given before Karl Marx, what did he call them? What did he call them? Hero's homework. Read all the things that we discussed with respect to social theories and revolutions in the 19th century. Okay? So socialism and communism, they are basically saying the goods and services or these resources, they should not be handed over to one individual or few individuals. They need to be distributed amongst all the people that are there in the nation, or in fact all the people that are there in the world. Remember, world. Communism talks about world socialism, not constricted to one particular nation or boundaries. Yes? Redistribution of resources is what socialism is speaking about. Here, what I want you to understand is, going back to this table, resources are there, all these things are happening. The fight here is about not capitalism in its purest sense or socialism in its purest sense. It is not that. It is about regulation of all these activities. It is about regulation of everything. How much regulation? How much regulation should be there by the government? That is the question here. Again, in world history, we have discussed that socialism happened, and then we had Russian Revolution in Russia. China had their own revolution of Marxism. They established their socialistic nation or Marxist nation in 1949. Russia established it in 1917. And at the same time, US was following something called capitalism along with all the other European nations who were also following capitalism. Germany was doing its own thing. India was not yet independent. Much like rest of the world, most of the countries are not independent yet. They got their independence during the process of decolonization. Right? These countries were trying to practice the purest form of capitalism, purest form of socialism. Because of these practices, in 1929, we had a very major economic event that happened. What is it? Great Depression. Why did the Great Depression happen? In USA, income inequalities were there. Rich were very rich and less in number. Poor were very poor and more in number. Along with that, there was a phenomenon of overproduction. Overproduction is there. That means a lot of supply is there, lot of resources are there, but not enough people to buy these resources. Because of that, banks have collapsed later. Recession happened. From recession, global depression has followed. Once this global depression has happened, lot of economists came ahead and said, a purest form of capitalism is not good. Some form of government intervention should be there in the economic activities of the nation. Okay. Jobs have to be created by the government. Employment has to be created by the government. Certain goods are there. Those goods need to be given to the public by the government. Those goods are called public goods. What are these public goods? Health, education, food, basic infrastructure. All these are public goods. So after the global depression has happened, economists have criticized the way capitalism is functioning. One of the main economists that did the criticism is John Maynard Keynes. J.M. Keynes. K-E-Y-N-E-S. Right? But if there is any sort of government intervention, it is not a proper capitalistic economy. If there is only government and no private individual, that is social. Criticism was given towards socialistic countries also, and that criticism manifested in reality when the USSR collapsed in 1991.
Yes, sir.
China has shifted from being completely socialist and had an open door policy by 1985. They are opening their doors for other people to enter the markets. That means everything is not with the government anymore. Anyone can enter. Private people can be there. So a pure form of capitalism has been gone. A pure form of socialism is also not there. And countries who have gotten independence in the 20th century through decolonization have opted for a mixed setup of economy, where little bit of capitalism is there, little bit of socialism is there. Okay. Here is where you have to look at this question. Socialism or capitalism or mixed economy is nothing about how much a state is regulating economic activities in the country. How much a state is intervening in the economic activities of a country. In capitalism,
No government.
zero. In socialism,
Only government.
100. In mixed, economy, it will depend on the country's situation. So right now, if you look at any country around the world, no country can be classified strictly as a capitalist country. No country can be strictly classified as a socialist country. Every country is a mixed economy, but what differs is how much regulation is being done by the government in that country. How much intervention is government doing in that country. One prime example of majorly capitalistic country is USA. Though they are capitalist, do they not have public schools? Yes, they have public schools. Do they not have public hospitals? Yes, they have public hospitals. What does public and private mean here? Private is controlled by individuals. Public is controlled by the government. If government is controlling, how is it public? Welfare, but how is it public? Government is elected by the public. Government is elected by the public. The people that are in the government are representatives of public. They are representatives. Correct? So that is why anything that is owned by government, we call it a public enterprise, public sector undertaking, public bank. Okay? Anything owned by individual? Private. Private entity, private enterprise, private institution. Public institution, government. Private institution, individual. Okay? So all the countries around the world today, they are all mixed economies, but they are either mostly capitalistic, they are mostly socialistic, they are not purely socialistic or capitalistic. Majorly capitalist mixed economy, USA, UK, any developed European country. Majorly socialistic mixed economy, Russia, China, Korea, North Korea, Cuba. India started majorly as a socialist country. Majorly as a socialist country. And in 1991, we opened our doors and we called it LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization, globalization. From then we have been majorly capitalistic. So all countries are mixed economies, but they are either majorly capitalistic or majorly socialistic. How do we determine which is majorly capitalistic, which is majorly socialist? Very simple. How much regulation is happening? How much intervention is happening? What sectors of production are being held by the government? What sectors are being allowed for private individuals to function in? Simple. Okay. Usually in any country around the world, things like defense, communication, oil, these are held by the government. Those things that are essential for national security of the country, they are held by the government. Rest are allowed for private individuals. Even if you look at China or Russia, even North Korea, private individuals are there. Private businesses are happening. Private institutions function. But what is the difference between how a private individual functions in China and how it is different from India is that if something happens, Indian government cannot suddenly, all of a sudden can say, no private, you have to shut down. I'm taking control of your enterprise. They can't do that. In China, they can. Think of it this way. In majorly capitalistic economies, private individuals are there. They are owning their own businesses. They are running their businesses. They will determine the prices. They will determine the demand and supply of their goods. What will government do? What is their intervention role? They will act like umpires in a match. What do umpires and referees do in a match? If there is a conflict, they will give a decision. If there is uncertainty in how the game is flowing, the umpire will give a decision. That is the level of intervention in capitalistic. When you look at socialistic, majorly socialist mixed economy, what happens is, same game is happening, but government will not be umpire. Government will have the TV remote in their hands. Okay, lot of channels are there in the TV. Government will sit with the remote. This channel is good, I will allow for this channel to continue. Channel is not good, I will change it. Majorly capitalistic, umpire. Majorly socialistic, TV remote. Remote control is there with the government. Okay, that is how you remember difference between majorly capitalistic and majorly socialistic economies. Right. Now what we will do is, we will establish an economy of our own in this class. For that, let me do one thing. We have said that theories are there in economics. When you apply it to the geographical area, it is called economy of that particular area. Law of diminishing marginal utility we have discussed. That is nothing but a theory. There will be law of demand, law of supply, production curve. All those things will be there in theories. They are all called economics. Okay. When you apply this theory to a geographical area of a state, it becomes that state's economy. Theory is applied to Telangana, Telangana's economy. Applied to Andhra Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh economy. Applied to India, India's economy. Apply it to this classroom. Classroom economy. So we will start a classroom economy today. Okay, and through that classroom economy, we will be discussing few concepts here. Okay, we will call this classroom as Classpuram. Classpuram. We will have our own official currency called as Classpuram Dupee. Like rupee, Dupee. Okay, count how many students are there. Right, 4, 4, 8, 10, 13, 16, 17. Do we have any absentees? Okay, we'll consider absentees as newborn individuals in that particular class. So what we will do is, I want from you, first all of you are primarily having one duty of being household consumers. What is your primary duty? Household consumers. What does a household consumer do? He will either have a job or some form of income stream, and with that income that he or she has, they will consume goods and services from the economy. So your primary function is household consumers. Then as we go along, I will give you additional tasks. On top of being a household consumer, you should be government, you should be a firm or a bank. Whenever I tell, you will become that thing. Okay, you can choose which one you want to be. And even in this household consumers, some of you will be rich, some of you will be middle class, some poor, and some poorest of the poor. Which one you want to be, you pick. Okay? Right. Depending on what you pick, I will give you certain amount of money. Not real money, poker money. Okay? Now, how many of you want to be rich?
Most of them will raise their hands.
Andar rich unte etla? If everyone is rich, first rich will finish. Rich. 2. Okay, 3 people are rich. What we will do is, రియల్ మనీయా? రియల్ ఎకానమీలోకి వెళ్ళి సంపాదించుకోవాలి. ఓకే, you have to keep these safe and you have to return them back to me once economy classes are done. Okay, this is your resource. monetary resource that is there with you. Throughout these classes, you will be doing purchases of goods and services. You will be paying taxes. Some of you will be doing black money circulation also. Okay. So, money laundering. To understand those concepts, not to encourage them. Okay. So, keep them safe. I borrowed it from a friend. I have to return it back. Okay. Give this to her. What more we will be doing is, you will all be starting at a certain amount of money already with you. Okay. And whoever is employed amongst you, they will be getting salaries. But we can't do months and months of salary. So every end of the week, you will get salaries. Okay. So you are starting with an amount of 400 rupees. No, Gada? You will start with 300 rupees. Actually, make it 350. Take another 50. Ikkada avaringa rich? You will start with 500. Okay. Next, we need middle class. ఇంతమంది మిడిల్ క్లాస్ ఉంటారు ఎవరికి మిడిల్ క్లాస్ ఇంకో 150 do one thing, take a paper and note down how much who is getting. No? 200. ఇంకొకళ్ళు మిడిల్ క్లాస్ ఇద్దరు ఇచ్చాం కాబట్టి ఒకళ్ళు అడుగుదాం. వెయిట్ 100. పూర్లో 20-30 ఎంత ఇస్తుంది. పూర్ actually, let's do one more rich and one more middle class. ఇంకొక మిడిల్ క్లాస్ పూర్ నేనేమన్నా గవర్నమెంట్ ఫ్రీబీస్ ఇస్తున్నట్టు. ఇక్కడ ఇంకెవరు మిగిలిపోయారు? ఒక్కొక్కరు ఒకటి తీసుకోండి. ఇది ఒకరికి, ఇది ఒకరికి. అది 1 రూపీ కాదు, 10 అది. ఐ విల్ గివ్ ద వాల్యూస్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. వెయిట్. రాయ్ నువ్వు రాయ్. ఇదొకరికి ఇవ్వు, ఇదొకరికి ఇవ్వు. See, rich people will distribute money. 500 పెట్టుకొని ఇదొకరికి ఇవ్వు. ఇంకొకరికి. I am not discriminating. You decided if you wanted to be rich or poor. నేను డిస్క్రిమినేట్ చేయకూడదనే చాయిస్ మీకు వదిలేసా. Who are left? 1, 2, ఇంకా you are left. You are poorest of the poor. You get nothing. అవి 1 రూపీ కాదు. See, these are 100, the black ones. These are 50, the blue ones. These are tens. Or let's not make it complicated, keep it 1 only. Whatever is value on the chip, you keep it as that. 5s are 500. The 5 is 500. And the green ఎవరికి రాలేదు కదా? Did anyone get below 40? ఎంత? Oh, 4 1 rupees jana. Do one thing. The ones are tens. Keep it as tens. Okay. 5 is 500. Ones are tens. Okay. Below 40. Who was left out here? Poorest of poor, but still 10 rupees are there. Okay. Now I want 2 of you to be government. What will government have?
Power.
Government will have gold resources, foreign currency, dollar resources, and also monetary resources. Okay? Since we can't bring gold and dollars here, you will be in charge of government. You have to collect taxes. Okay? You have to regulate the economy based on that class that day. If you are capitalist, you have to leave intervention to the least. If it's a socialist discussion, then you have to do more intervention. Depending on what I say, what directions I give, you have to go according to that. Okay? All the government duties will be performed by you, and this is the money reserves that are there in the government. You both are responsible for it. So apart from being a household consumer, they will perform a secondary duty of being the government. Okay? We will slowly evolve this economy later. Now what I want you to do is calculate how much money is there in the economy. Banks will be established later. Right now temples ఏమి బ్యాంక్స్, టెంపుల్స్లో సేవ్ చేసుకోండి డబ్బులు. నువ్వు రాసావు కదా, రైట్ ది అమౌంట్స్ ఆల్సో నెక్స్ట్ టు ద నేమ్. ఏంటి క్యారమ్స్ ఆడతావు? We are calling this economy as Classpuram economy. What is the currency that you have? Rupee. So throughout this lecture, whenever we discuss the relevant topics, we will be looking at how much money is there in the economy. We will try and understand the concepts of national income, inflation, foreign sector, trade, import and export, how goods are distributed, how taxation happens. All these things will be discussed through the money that you have. Okay? The idea is to understand an economy internally instead of understanding from an external perspective. Okay? Whenever we do these theories or looking at our own internal economy, we will relate that to the actual Indian economy and see what is actually happening there. right? Let's do one more thing. This side is south states, that side is north states. 2720 rupees is the current valuation of this Classpuram economy. Valuation. We are not saying GDP, we are not saying money supply, we are not using any terminology as of yet. We will use the terminology when we get there. Okay? This is the money that is in circulation with you. Clear? Once the banks come in, once the central bank comes, we'll make it more complicated. Clear? Keep them safe. Now you have to understand from the first thing that you have to understand from this distribution is there are inequalities in the economy. Some people are rich, some people are poor, some are middle. Some of them have nothing. Just like how a real economy also has. Some are poor, some are rich, some are middle class, some have nothing. They don't have any resources to start their lives with. Okay? In fact, some people start their lives with debt. Not at zero. They'll start negative. They are born with a debt on their head that they have to clear by performing an economic activity. We will not go to that extent. For now, we will keep it this way. Clear? No caroms adagdanto. Okay? So now we have household consumers as well as a government. That's it. Whoever is doing economic activities, trade and exchange, they are free to do it. Taxation is not yet a thing. Okay? Every week end or let's say every 5th class, we will give salaries to whoever are employed. Tomorrow we will see who are employed, what are the firms, where are they employed. Okay? Since these two people are there in the government, they already have employment. They will get salaries on the 5th day. Clear? Right. This is clear. Resources are scarce. They need to be utilized. The more you utilize it, the less is the satisfaction coming out of it. Thereby, the aim of the production units is to maximize the utilization of resources for the consumers by doing management of those resources. All these things are being performed by either private or public enterprises or individuals, and they are regulated by government to a certain extent. Depending on what extent, they are either maximum capitalist or majorly socialist. But all the economies are mixed economies. Clear?